Hi everyone, I'm Mel and welcome to Empowered Love. And this week I've got an interview and it's a really exciting interview and I'm really thrilled to be doing it. And this is a joint contact through my wonderful friend Fiona in DV who I've had on before. And she created this introduction for me and I'm just thrilled to have Nicole on. And Nicole Edwards, she is the founder and the CEO of Rise Up, which is a really exciting new group. And they're a community-driven organisation which is dedicated to educating, empowering and ending domestic and family violence. And for the Aussies out there, this is an Australian group. And also, too, we had just a shocking week. I think it was last week, Nicole. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight.
Oh, thank you very much for having me on. It's beautiful to have the chance to have a little chat with you, Mel. You're amazing.
Oh, thanks. Well, I tell you what, you're amazing. And, the work that Fiona does is amazing as well. And, I love it when you have women on their Dharma. And, Nicole, we had a chat last week and I had to talk to Fiona after that, and as I said to Fiona, here's another lady on her Dharma. This is mission-based stuff, and it's powerful and it's exciting. And Nicole, that week that we had in Queensland, which is your home state, with the two murders and of the ladies through intimate partner violence, and the child and the grandparent. It was really saddening.
Yeah, it is, and it has a massive effect on the community, whether you are a victim of domestic violence or whether you're not. It almost felt, when I was speaking to a lot of friends, they felt like they were in the middle of a war zone. So it's really, we have to look at that and make sure that we're linking people in where they need to go to make sure that they are being supported.
And I think what was really quite shocking about that for us here in Australia was that it was in broad daylight. It wasn't actually even in four walls. It was, in public view in front of people, which, really showed the level of where these abusers had lost the plot completely.
Yeah, totally lost the plot, and it's brazen. And, absolutely. It was really, really saddening to see on all the different levels and to see, in both instances that these mums had left behind their children. There's children that are, left behind, and imagine the journey ahead for those children. But, we Rise Up, and we're about, engaging the community and coming together. We're empowering one another. It's also about, not only is it with Rise Up, for example, Mel, I'll just give you a rundown, and for your listeners, what we do is we are effectively a conduit between the refuges and the domestic violence services and the community, because as you can understand, it's such it's a hidden underground situation. A lot of women and children that they technically go into hiding, having to be relocated from a domestically violent relationship, and they are evacuated and they go into refuges. Here in Queensland, we have 60 women's refuges, which is not near enough, unfortunately, and sadly to say that, because 60 is such a huge number in itself.
It is.
And you can't Google a refuge or anything like that. It's they're not public for obvious reasons. And I became more and more aware of that through my work with a sister. And I feel very, very passionately about supporting these families that are breaking the cycle, and they've made really brave decisions to move forward and leave that violence behind, not only for themselves but for their children. So we effectively grew our contact base. It's through word of mouth. One refuge, we work with one and they tell the next one. And then we link in with support services. So we never come in contact with the families that we support, which is for a number of different reasons. It's really, from the heart I speak about the empowerment of these families. And, you can imagine it's certainly disempowering to be walking down the veggie aisle and to see your home team leader or the lady that came and helped you out of that dark space. So it's really important we, go into homes and completely create beautiful. We go into houses and we create homes by providing.
And look, just to jump in there, because Fiona has told me about this. She raves about this, and I'm just blown away by the level of what you guys do. I've heard that you get like you get a rundown of what those children are interested in, and you actually decorate the rooms, and I heard about, that woman who she wasn't allowed to wear makeup, and then, she went into her bathroom and she had new makeup, and this is the level of care and detail that you guys go to. It is just phenomenal.
And why not, hey Mel? Why not? If we can, as a community,
I love it.
Why don't we do just that? And I think, oftentimes you think here in Australia is referred to as the lucky country. And for many of these families that are affected by domestic and family violence, they don't feel very lucky at all. And we need to empower the families and congratulate and support them, if albeit be that they never meet us, but they know that we're here. We come in as fairies, we sprinkle a bit of love, and we leave that. And, we've all moved 100 times ourselves, haven't we? And we know how hard it is to restart, to move, to buy, save up and get your white goods and, all of that. So throw in some trauma, throw in a couple of kids. And, it's about breaking the cycle. So from a very lateral perspective, women and men, we do what we're really good at, and we think very laterally. Women are especially good at this. We put everything aside and we look at things and we think of a really lateral way of getting in, a practical way of solving a situation. So, we're not government funded or anything, because that's really important for me personally. I think that there's a lot of finger pointing, this organisation is not doing that, the government's not doing this or whatever.
Absolutely.
But the time is right now that we need to take responsibility ourselves and go, look, I can do my bit to empower a fellow person here and do my bit. So it's great, and the success rate is ridiculous, and which is amazing, and we're making some really good headway. So it's encouraging.
And that in itself, Nicole, when you're looking at a success rate is so high, you're doing something right, and something is coming from mission and purpose, and it's coming from authenticity. And I just love the fact that so many organisations are getting on board with you, and they're saying, yes, we will support, we will donate, we will help. And there's individuals and there's companies and there's businesses that are all getting behind this and saying, well, look, what we can do to support and empower people in need is just, and you are generating this, so tell the listeners, about Rise Up. Who's involved? How many people are behind it? How did it start? I think it's exciting to know how it started too, because that's a pretty incredible story.
Yeah, absolutely. So Rise Up is, it started actually just a week ago, but I've been involved in this industry, if you wish, for the last 3 years through an organisation that I co-founded, and it was called A Sister Sister. And, given the dire need of once we had really put our fingers and our feet into this devastating, I would say actually almost call it an epidemic. I don't speak lightly about domestic violence. And the deeper we got into it, we really realized. Yeah, it is. And I really, we both recognized that there was so much work that needed to be done. So what better, one organisation's not going to cut it. So we actually went off and have both now driving the co-founders of the Sister Sister. We've both got our own organisations now, and that's a really positive, amazing thing, because it also recognises how important the work is and how much it is needed. So there's a large percentage of a Sister Sister has come across to Rise Up, and I suppose we look at it. We're taking a bit more of a stronger stance, a bit of a more dynamic stance from a Sister Sister. I think we're really driving the message home that it won't be tolerated in our society. It goes to show, you mentioned all the people that were with us and the celebrity patrons. And I think what that really says is that it goes to show that no matter who you are, what you have, where you work, what you drive, everyone has, the ability to engage and make a difference and get involved with something that's important to themselves. So whether it be, this is something I'm passionate about, but I think everyone has that ability to engage and connect and work from the heart and do something meaningful with your life. That's what I'm about. And, substantial change, Mel, that will only come about when we take action together. So, we all have to be collaborative. We need to stand in solidarity, and we need to, look forward and look at what we need to do as a community and take responsibility.
I agree entirely, and that's a lot of my model is very much about, one person at a time. One person at a time. We're going to change this world.
Yeah, the old starfish story, don't you?
Yes.
You heard about that?
Share it with people.
Okay, so it's a very old story about a little boy that was standing on the shore of the beach, and all along the beach there were little tiny starfish, and the little boy was standing there, and he was picking up the starfish and he's throwing it out into the ocean, and this old man came up to him and said, little Johnny, I don't know why you're even bothering, because it's all, you've got all of these here on the foreshore. Okay? And the little boy said it doesn't matter if he can just throw back one starfish, it's saving a life. So I think that, and that's our model and our mantra as well, because it's, you can tend to get really overwhelmed and sucked into the enormity of things. But if we focus little by little, you'll attract so much goodness, and we can get things done. Absolutely. And it's about sustainability. There is absolutely no other option for Rise Up but to rise up across the nation and have everybody coming together collaboratively and rising up against domestic violence.
I agree, and I think it's really, really beautiful. And from, you didn't have a DV background, and I think it's really lovely too. Somebody you didn't come from DV, from domestic violence, but you have this passion where you want to make a difference, and that's really, really beautiful. But even as you were saying to me last night, you said you've been able to link in with the most amazing people that have got experience on that front, and they've been, fantastic mentors, but you're doing your Dharma, this is a passion that really found you. And
absolutely. And I think, Mel, that I came out from South Africa with my mum and my dad and my brother, and I was 10 years old. And we have a very, very tight family and a good family, very good parents. And my mum was the traditional homemaker in that traditional role. And when I started with a Sister, she said to me, I could see that she was having a lot of difficulty with the work that I was doing, and she struggled. And she said to me, we started having this conversation, and she said, Nicole, I've tried, and now I'm 40 years old now, and my mum said to me, Nicole, we have tried to keep you from this side of life. We've tried to protect you from all of this. This side of life, this not very nice side of life, your whole life, and and I said to her that because I've had a really lovely and loving, safe environment, that has given me the wings to do the work that I have, because I
Yeah,
feel so
absolutely.
passionate about it. I feel really, really passionately that people deserve to feel safe in their homes. That is a human right. And, I think that a message that I love to communicate, Mel, is, for the women and for the men, listening to this interview right now, it's really, really important to remember that you're not alone. And, if you were going through this, or if your friends are going through this, the message is that you're not the only one going through this, and that there are really, really good support organisations out there that can help. And it's not your fault, and the experience doesn't need to define who you are, and you deserve better. So, and you've got an amazing community of within Rise Up and here in Australia that are supporting safe decisions.
I love that. I love the fact, there is support, there is love, there is solutions. And, I have been a victim of DV myself, absolutely. And I really know that there is such a terror when we're wanting to get away, and I remember I was locked out of house. I couldn't get access to anything, like there was times when, because of stalking, it wasn't safe to stay at people's houses, or they would say you have to leave because they were very scared of him. And, what that really meant was there was just so much, how am I going to cope? How am I going to wash my clothes? How am I going to, my son hasn't got access to his computer. How's he going to do homework? All of that sort of stuff that goes on. And I just think, it's so incredible that, when women obviously can get assessed and they're ready and they are serious and they are going to leave and they've got, the support in place, that they can be, housed somewhere where they can continue on.
And rebuild, rebuild. And as I said, it doesn't determine what the end of your story looks like. There are amazing, amazing stories of success and, thriving. Women are thriving. They're getting to the other side. About 85% of our volunteers are coming to us from a DV background. And, we work very solidly through trauma-informed practice. And, we're coming together. Women are, coming together. And, when I speak about women, I'm also, I talk because it is a very gendered issue, unfortunately, looking at the number of deaths of women per week. But I come very strongly from the place of, if one man is affected by domestic violence, it's one man too many, okay? Well, I have absolutely zero tolerance to violence, intimate violence against anyone. And I think we just have to take a stance on it, and what is acceptable in our community, what is not. Let's shift the shame and the silence, break that silence down, because it's something that does thrive behind closed doors, doesn't it,
Oh, look, definitely, absolutely. And there's been, such a fear of there's not support out there, and it's not so long ago we were, definitely coming from a very shame-based society and patriarchal society where it was very, very hard for women to get on and get empowered. And look, the thing is too, on my narcissistic abuse recovery program, 25% of the people on that program are actually men. And look, generally, it's psychological abuse to men, and in the narcissistic community, they can be stripped of money and funds, and it's very hard for men to, come forward for help because they've been raised to be strong and capable. And so our heart goes out to men as well. I really don't want any of the men listening to this in the community to go, oh, well, here we go, it's all about women again,
No,
I know there are men terrorised by narcissistic women, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's, and I think, for myself, I'm married to an amazing man, and we stand united in the fact that it's, no matter who you are, as I said before, what you do, whatever, everyone deserves to feel respected and deserves to feel safe in their home. So, and, we need the good men in our community to stand up and say, because domestic violence, especially, when you see women, almost 2 women a week are dying at the hands of their male intimate partner, it's definitely physical. It's physical violence that is causing these deaths. And
Yes.
we just need to stand collaboratively together and united. Let's not to what's happening in the media or what's happening and shift the focus of all of that. Let's just stand collaborative and let's keep our eye on the actual issue and help these families to feel empowered. We can be practical. That's what it is. We're absolutely, my goal with Rise Up is to drive awareness, because as we spoke before, Mel, there is very little known and spoken about domestic violence. It's not very fashionable to talk about it. It's a little bit stingy when you bring it up. And we need to remove that. Unfortunately, we don't have 20 years to wait to get the message out that it won't be tolerated.
I agree with you.
Stand and let's break it all down and let's face it head on and talk about it, because the more we talk about it, the less it will feel uncomfortable. And the more, then that will change community perception about what is tolerable and what is not. And we need to hear the beautiful voices.
When we bring the shadows out into the light, we heal them. We get authenticity on things, we get openness, we get collaboration, we get healing, we get the energy where it needs to be. So, I totally agree. I think we've all come from such a, oh my God, it's not okay to be flawed. It's not okay to be this. It's not okay to be that. Yes, it is okay. We're all human. We're all going through our evolution and our challenges and our pain and our abuse or whatever we're going through. And what we've got to understand is that if we're authentic and we're really open with it, we are going to be loved and supported, because we're loving and supporting ourselves by actually doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're doing it together. So it's really really fantastic to have, to get to the end of at the end of the day where we've actually gone in and you see the transformation. We did a home last week, and it was lovely for me to, because things are quite busy for me and behind the scenes, and but it was lovely for me to actually get back in at grassroots and get involved in a home. And, we went in, and the lady had just been in, she had been in refuge for 12 weeks, and she had gone into hospital because she had pneumonia. Now, she had a couple of little children, and she was being discharged from hospital that morning and was due to go into her home, Mel. Now, when we rocked up at the home, that's what she would have gone into when she's not well. She had pneumonia, okay, not very well, and she had her children. And there was nothing in the house at all. So by the end of that, she had a beautiful TV and her couch and her beds were made. The children had toys in their room ready. The kitchen was filled with food and utensils, and there was some, a tea bag in her cup for when she got there. She was ready to have her cup of tea. And that's what it's about. That's the absolute essence and the beauty about what we do. Everybody can get involved and join this amazing community of life changers and rise up with us. We really need to spread the word, and even if it's just to watch the page and share the page, everyone has ability to make a positive difference in the lives of others affected by domestic violence.
Well, I just know in this community there are so many beautiful, benevolent, mission-orientated people that I just have the most incredible community of people that are just so interested in sharing and helping and empowering. And I know, Nicole, that there will be Aussie people, here that will really want to get involved. But before we get to how they can, and absolutely, we're going to really share the information about that people can get involved and, become a part of Rise Up. Nicole, is this, what would the vision for this? Is this a model that can go worldwide? That's where I'd love to see it. Can that happen?
Absolutely, Mel. At the moment, we are Rise Up Australia. I would like nothing better than to see Rise Up America, Rise Up, UK, Rise Up. I think we have to. We have no choice but to get this moving around the world. It's a fantastic lateral thinking model, very, very simple, and we're changing lives. And everybody, in some capacity or another, we should be rising up across the world. Showing our intolerance.
Yeah, beautiful.
And I think it's going back to basics, Mel, the community is so beautiful. We live in a very superficial life, society. You know, we're so driven by materialistic things, and that's because we're being primed all the time. You know, you need the better car and the better house, and what that does essentially is strips away your your happiness and your security and your happiness. And I think, you know, by looking outwards and looking out to the community that's right here on your doorstep, everybody, you know, there's community right outside your door there and doing it tough. And no matter what socioeconomic level you might be, the one common denominator across this is domestic violence. And, if we start helping and looking outwards, it's healing. It's healing for yourselves. And it's not only, and it's healing for the families that you're having a really direct impact on. And we're creating a really happy community. You know, I had a phone call from one of our volunteers, and she had said to me, you know, Nicole, it's so lovely what we do in our community and what we're doing to help these families. But it's also really lovely for all of us volunteers, you know, and because we've got a beautiful, thriving, heartfelt community that is feeling empowered and having greater levels of gratitude for your own situation, and that's healthy and empowering. And, that we need more of that in our society, I think, modern society.
We do. It's unity. And, you know, this is the thing. There's been so much separation. There's been so much conditional love of self. There's been so much self-judgment and having to keep up with the egoic, insatiable needs of I'm never going to be good enough. And this has created so much disconnection from people that, you know, it's really no wonder that we've got this epidemic going. People are desperately unhappy. They're unhealthy on the inside. They're lashing out. And what we're really doing is we've got all of this separation that's happened through a consumerist society has stopped us being community and unity consciousness and love. Yes. We've all gone into fear-driven survival rather than love and community and support for each other. So this is such a beautiful way to bring it all around full circle. And the solutions that you're doing are actually, you know, a massive part of healing the problem in a lot of ways because, you know, those women that feel loved and they feel supported and they feel they have community, you know, that passes on to their children and their children can grow up with that sort of model. We all need to come back to each other.
I'll tell you a quick story, Mel. And we had an event when we were part of a sister. We had a Christmas event, and there was this lady that I wanted to have a chat to because I knew that she'd been donating, driving new vacuum cleaners out to Bow Desert, and which is sort of rural, and donating pillows to this property and that property. And really, I noticed there was a lot of activity from this lady. So I felt, this is wonderful. I know that she's coming to this Christmas event, and I'll go up and say hello and, introduce myself and thank her very much for her support. And, in practically providing beautiful things for the families that are escaping domestic violence. And I shook her hand, and she looked at me, and she said, I was 19. Right? And I looked at her and I didn't quite understand what she was saying. She was home 19. So since we had, huge. Yeah. So we were now at, I think it was with part of a sister, I think it was we were on our 37th home or our 40th home or something like this. So you can see, look at that. So and that's how she introduced herself to me. I was 19.
Look at the flow on.
Yeah, it's breathtaking. It really was. It was such a beautiful, breathtaking moment. And she was there with her children, and it was really, really, really impactful. We had another situation when we were being filmed for the project. We did a story with a sister, and our marketing. Our media director had said, come on, Nicole, we don't get to see each other very often. Jump in the car with me. I'm taking the project up to a home where there's a lady and that we've given her a home, through a sister. And nada, 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 nada. As I said before to you, we don't meet the families or anything like that. And we piled, I didn't give it a second thought, piled out of the car. And this was at probably about the 2.5-year mark at a sister. And I walked into the home and she was being filmed and whatnot. And it struck me so hard, Mel, walking into that property and the enormity of saying to the producer, she's been here for 7 months. She's been in this property for 7 months, right?
Yeah.
The enormity of that we've given her this beautiful opportunity to break the cycle of domestic violence. There she is. I'm walking into this home where she's lived for 7 months with her children, surrounded by the things that we had donated, and she was living there comfortably, made it her little home with her pictures and whatnot. And before I knew it, there were big elephant tears rolling down my face. And there was a lady there that she had made friends with. And she was from the local church, and she spotted me because I sort of ducked away because I didn't want to, didn't want to show that I was upset. And I sort of just quickly ducked away, and I couldn't stop that enormous rush of emotion. And the lady came up to me and gave me a big hug, and she said, this is, a really powerful moment, and it's such important work that we do. And, it was really, really, and this is what drives me, Mel. I'm so passionately supportive of the women and the families that are starting afresh, because it's enormous. But we're here for you, and we convert that strength to, we can convert that emotion to strength. And that's a piece of advice that my hubby had given me one day. I was at SeaWorld, and again, we run a program for the children to make sure that the children have brand new uniforms and school books and things like that. That sort of started because a support worker had said to me, Nicole, this little 8-year-old girl, she's been in refuge for 2 days, and all we can give her is the little paint-stained uniform from sick bay. And as a mother myself, it absolutely broke my heart. And I felt that's not right, and we can do something about that. We can do something about that. Yeah, so we started a program, and by the end of a sister, we had supported over 160 children, and that included brand new uniforms, camps, extracurricular activities, and that's something that we do with Rise Up as well. We have the Rise Up for Liam program, which is it's the same, absolutely the same program. And I received an email. I was at SeaWorld with my children and my husband, and the support worker had written this letter to me explaining why that service is so needed. And again, these elephant tears rose up, and my husband said, this is your tears, we need to convert that to strength, because your tears, when you're that upset, you're not going to be useful for anybody. So he was engaging me and saying, come on, let's convert that to strength, and that's what I did. And really, I think I never want to lose that raw emotion, because it drives me, drives the fire in my belly.
No, I can completely relate. It's I feel exactly the same with what I do. And I love that ripple effect too. Thrivers that were, devastated, absolutely shattered, narcissistic abuse recovery, people that are thrivers who are now moderators and thrivers, in my community, in my forums, and now they're helping people, and it's that whole ripple on.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we can do it. Everybody can do it, in whatever capacity you're able to.
That's the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's it. That's the point. When you're mission-based and we're making a difference, and, and I think the beautiful thing is that, that time on our deathbed, and everybody can have this, where we go, I really went for it. I went all the way. I really wanted to make a difference. I wanted to make my life count.
And how beautiful.
Yeah, we can do that.
That's exactly it, Mel. That's something that that resonates really strongly with me, because I feel, and not only do I want to obviously present as a really strong role model for my girls, but also by the end of my life to be able to look back and to think, I gave it a good crack. I gave it a good crack, and we've made some really great inroads, and some changes have happened because we've made the effort.
Well, I tell you what, you are going off like a cracker with Rise Up. You know, Rise Up has only been open for a few weeks. It's already going
one
great.
One week, girlfriend.
Oh my gosh,
yes,
1 week.
It.
You work fast, girlfriend. This is crazy. This is crazy. You know, your Facebook page is going mad. You've got all these celebrities involved. You know, Rove's getting behind this. You've got Channel 7 and Channel 9, and it is all going on a massive level, and you are just a ball of dynamite behind this that's just driving this. It's just incredible. I've only in the last few days, and it's just blowing my mind.
Oh.
So okay. So Nicole, how do people get involved, find out about Rise Up, and how do they rise up and get behind this? What should they do?
Okay, I honestly would love to hear from some of your community, beautiful people. You can on Facebook, if you Google search it, or if you go into Facebook, you search Rise Up, RIZEUP, so it's a Z, not an S, and you'll find our page. It's Rise Up Australia. And please like it and share it. Even if you're all around the world, please like it and share it. We have great support from around the world. And and I'm Nicole at Rise Up, so NICOLLE at riseup.com.au. Definitely would love to hear from any of you. I'm one small cog in a massive wheel, Mel. It's definitely a collaborative affair, and that's the only way forward. It's not. It's all team based. You know, we can just do what we're good at, and we'll make this a huge success and skyrocket forward. Support these families.
You're right. There's no doubt you're going to do that. No doubt you're doing it. It's amazing. Well, Nicole, we'll put all of the details of Rise Up 2 on this blog article that'll go with this that people can find you really easily.
Thank you. That's amazing.
Oh, you're so welcome. Oh, my goodness. Gosh, not at all. I'm just so excited about supporting you.
As are you, my friend.
Yeah, well, we're all in this together. Absolutely.
We're all in this,
Absolutely. And, it's really lovely from the practical side of things to just be able to get support with your organisation. I'm all about the consciousness, from the inside out, empowerment, evolving ourselves beyond abuse. And I tell you what, the practical side of things, supporting that is just, a really beautiful win-win for me and this community.
Yeah, healing. Absolutely. We'd love to hear from some of your community, and even, it would be lovely to see you guys participate and get stuck in, on that practical side. And we'd love to. It's awesome. We're really, really fortunate to be able to do the things that we love and the things that we're passionate about. So I feel pretty lucky actually.
Totally, same. Well, Nicole, thank you so much for this interview, and thank you so much for coming on. And I'm sure we're going to do a follow-up one later, and when Rise Up has got some more ground, and we can get you out there a bit more for sure. I'd love to have you on again.
Really appreciate that. Thanks, love. Really, really appreciate that, and we appreciate the support.
You are so welcome. All right, my love. Bye-bye.
See you.
So, everybody, I hope that you really enjoyed that. What an amazing organisation. What an amazing woman. And all of the details will be on the blog for you to be able to connect into Rise Up. And also, too, I'd love any questions and comments that you have on the blog. Would be wonderful about this topic. And I think this is a really good model that we can look at all over the world. There's no doubt about that. Let's bring community and support really back into this equation. And love, we all need, more love. We need more love. We need more support. We all need to band together. So that's it from me, everybody, until next week. So lots of love and bye-bye.